going to start by setting our space. So do whatever you need to do. Roll out your mat, grab an extra blanket, get some essential oils, some oracle cards. And then we'll start by taking a seat. So once you're on your mat, we're just going to take a moment to get present and arrive here. So place your hands face down on top of your knees and maybe let your fingers move around and your eyes close. With your eyes closed, start to acknowledge the sensation of the fabric under your fingers and what it feels like. And then go a little bit deeper with that sensation and notice what it feels like under the fabric for your own body to touch your body. And let the hands come to some stillness, and then notice where else in the body that you can feel yourself against yourself. Maybe the way the backs of your calf and thigh touch at the fold of your knee. Maybe the way your arch is nestled underneath your calf muscle. And start to acknowledge the sensation of the breath. Maybe even just the suggestion caused you to breathe a little deeper, a little stronger. Notice with me the sensation of the air going in the nostrils. Notice the sensation of the air exiting the mouth. Notice the cool inhale to your nose. And the warm exhale over the tongue and between the lips. Continue on breathing. Feeling the transformation in the throat, where cool becomes hot, where cool becomes warm. Acknowledge the sound, like waves crashing over. Begin to notice the small pauses between inhale. How it rests for a beat at the top. Exhale. And then there's these extremes. Inhale. And these lulls. A pause that wouldn't even be noticed unless you were looking. A natural gap that's not forced. Just a noticing of what's already present. The moment between the breaths. first step to finding space. A few more breaths just for you. Slowly blink the eyes open. Take the hands to touch at heart center, a prayer mudra. A mudra is a tool that we use with our hands. It's shapes that we make. It's almost like yoga for your hands. So as we lift the palms up overhead, part the middle 3 fingers. Let the pinkies and the thumbs stay touching. Keep lifting, lifting. This is a lotus mudra, symbol of enlightenment and unconditional love. And we're just going to let ourselves bathe in that energy before we get grounded in our practice. So those middle 3 fingers are parting. We inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. This translates to, may all beings be happy and free. And may my words, thoughts, and actions in this life contribute to the happiness and freedom of others. So we'll take this unconditional mudra, this lotus, we'll break it open over our head, let the hands start to part. As the hands melt, turn them into peace fingers and point them towards the earth. Let the chin come to the chest, let the peace fingers plug in beside you and the shoulders soften. These peace finger mudras are actually the earth element mudra. So we're taking that enlightenment, we're taking that consciousness, and we're drawing it down and grounding it and integrating it. We're taking those well wishes from that mantra, Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. And we're bringing it down into our body and down into the earth and sending it out. Lifting the hands back to a prayer, taking the chin parallel. Go ahead and rub the palms together. Generate heat. Once your palms are very warm, take them over your eyes, gently resting there. Thumbs around the temples. The other 4 fingers on each hand just curled around the forehead, totally blocking out the light. And then slowly pulling the hands away, letting the eyes blink open, letting the light in. We'll take it into our first stretches of our practice. Feel free to wiggle as necessary. We were seated for a while. If you need to sit on a blanket, that's okay too. We're going to come onto our tummies. And we're going to take an earth hug to start. So all we have to do for that is take our right knee up and out to the side of our mat at a 90-degree angle, and we'll flex the toes. Then we're going to go ahead and just relax into it. I like to fold my arms and let my forehead sit on my mat. We're here for like 5 good breaths. It's a nice hip opener. It's very grounding. And it's really subtle. Let's give it one more breath. And we can lift the head, draw the elbows back under the shoulders, take like a sphinx pose, but with this leg out. And then we'll switch it. So releasing that right leg, taking that left leg up, 90 degree. And then folding the arms, maybe opposite arm on top this time, and forehead down. You can also interlace the fingers. You can use a block, a pillow. There are so many options here, so you can change it up every day. Maybe some sighs. Really good for releasing some energy. Give it about one more breath. Take the elbows under the shoulders, hands widen apart so they're like candles on a birthday cake. Lifting into that little Sphinx pose for a breath. And releasing, taking that left leg back. Now, we'll let the forehead come down to the mat, and this time draw your hands under your shoulders. Elbows are back and squeezing in towards the body. Let the shoulders pull back and squeeze behind you. And let the toes untuck so your toenails are on your mat or the ground. And squeeze the legs from the very inner thighs all the way to the tiptoes. On the inhale, gently push into the palms, lifting the heart from the mat, the gaze just a few feet in front of you. Keep drawing the toenails down into the ground. It feels weird, but that's where our cobra starts. Exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, baby cobra. We're not trying to get high off the mat. We're just trying to awaken our back muscles. Say hello. Open the heart. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Exhale, lower. Now you can retuck the toes, get the knees under the body, start picking up the hips a bit, push into the palms. Make sure the knees are touching. Now we can untuck the toes and press ourselves back to a closed-kneed child's pose. Hands can stay forward if this feels comfortable. Hands can also come back, forehead just resting on the mat. A few breaths just to counter stretch our baby cobras. And then we'll take it onto hands and knees. So slowly coming up. Hands under shoulders, knees under the hips, tucking the toes. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. And on an exhale, curling around like an angry Halloween cat. Just a few more. Start working in some other stretches that feel good. Wiggling into the hips, wagging your tail. We're going to take our right foot forward and replace it where our hand was. You don't have to take a nice deep low lunge quite yet. We can just take it pretty shallow and we're going to pump in. Hand can come onto the hip for support. Both can be on the knee. You can have some blocks, books, or water bottles at your side for some support. Getting into those upper hips, our quads, and our psoas a little through the belly. Good. We'll take our hand back down. Then we're going to send this foot wide and out to the side. Notice my toes are still pointing forward and the knife edge of my foot is rolling down. From here, could just feel good to hang out. You might shift and wiggle just a little till you find some sensation. Or if it's okay in your SI joint and your low back, you can take some cat-cows here as well with the leg wide. Good, come to that neutral spine. We're gonna bring the foot in a little closer, and then we're gonna turn the toes facing the wide edge of our mat away from us. So basically what we're doing is we're coming up onto our knee. It's almost like a kneeling engagement kind of thing. It's sort of like a warrior two in a way. And so we'll take the arms out wide. You've got your heel and your knee aligned with each other, toes pointing out, fingers pointing the same directions as the toes. The shoulders soften. We're going to take the right forearm on top of that right thigh and lift the left arm overhead. So now it's like a kneeling extended side angle. Really pushing into the foot, pushing into the knee for stability, for activity. Let the prana and energy move around the body. Inhale, coming back to center. Go ahead, take the hands down. We're gonna sweep the foot all the way over to the left side of the mat this time. You're gonna push back into your heel. Notice it's pretty active. And then I'm gonna look around at that foot. So I'm really emphasizing this arch, this C shape in the right side of my body. Releasing back to center, maybe shaking it back out as well. We'll take it on the left side. So left foot plants forward. A nice shallow low lunge where we'll pump in. I like back toes tucked. I feel like it helps protect that knee and it gives you a little bit more stability. After we've pumped in a few times and we're feeling good about it, let's take the hands back down. Left foot wide, toes point forward again, foot is in alignment with the knee, and that knife edge of the foot, the pinky toe edge, is rolling down and grounded. Maybe finding some of those natural moves. Good. We'll find our kneeling extended side angle. So that foot walks in a little, maybe even comes to the wide edge of the mat, and then a little forward. Toes point away from you, knee points in that same direction, arms out wide. So it's like a kneeling warrior. Take the left forearm to the top of the thigh, right arm up and overhead. Nice little side body stretch in there. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, drop the hands. Sweep the foot all the way over to the right side. Press back through the heel and gaze over at the foot. Nice. Take the knee back. Shake it out. Let the knees come to touch and untuck the toes. Go ahead and just sit on your thighs if this feels okay. You can also take a cushion underneath your seat or a block if you've got one. We'll just take some shoulder and neck rolls. If everything feels a little tighter today, that's okay. You're welcome to just take half circles. Your shoulder, chin, chest. Your shoulder, chin, chest. Using the breath to help you work through any little kinks you're finding. And as you open up, jaw stays relaxed, but circles might get pretty big. And take it into the shoulders, shrugging, both forward and backwards. And then returning to hands and knees. This time, we're going to keep our hips really high, walk the hands forward, and let the heart come to drop. Some people like forehead down, some people like chin. Depending on what feels best in your neck, you'll decide. And this is our puppy pose. On the exhales, letting the armpits open, letting the heart sink a little lower. Barring any discomfort in the neck, you can also take the head to one side. for a few breaths. And then the other. Just moving really slowly and carefully through the cervical spine. Maybe an open mouth sigh for the last breath here. Crawling the hands back in, so pushing deep into the palms, lift the chest, walk the hands back. I want to take a rounded cat pose here, counter stretch the spine. And then from all fours, we're going to take just a little bit more of like a rolling cat-cow. So puffing up the back on the inhale, and then exhaling, pressing the hips towards the heels. Inhale, elbows go wide, nose brushes against the mat. We arrive in cow. Inhale. Cat, exhale, hips towards heels. Inhale, elbows wide. Nose towards the ground. Cow. Keep rolling through. Find a nice rhythm. And the breath's allowed to change with the movement as you find a flow and a pace that works well. One more. Coming up through that cat and then finding a neutral spine. We'll press back to a very casual downward facing dog where we'll pedal the heels gently for just a few breaths. We'll start to slowly turn those pedals into little tiptoes forward till our feet come right behind our hands. Flipping the palms briefly so they're up towards the sky. Your fingers are pointing behind you and your wrists and backs of your hands are gently resting on the mat. From here, just finding a little tented halfway lift so you can heel toe the feet wider. Heels on the mat, toes off the mat. Squat your booty down, finding a malasana. Couple of breaths. We'll release this down to a seat. Extend the legs in front of us, flex the toes. Inhale, sweep the fingers high. And then exhale, find a fold. Inhale, slowly rolling up. We're going to take our feet in, lift our heart high. Hands like mittens slide behind the thighs. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, using the traction in the hands to lift the heart, and then hovering the toes. So we're just balanced on the seat in a boat pose. Maybe releasing the hands, keeping that length in the spine, that lift in the heart. And then drawing the feet to touch, letting them come to rest and folding over the legs. Nice. Coming up to center, we'll scoot forward a bit so we can recline all the way down. Little rock from side to side. Place both feet down. Take the right foot up towards the sky, and then flex the toes. Cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh, and then push the right knee open and away from you. If this is enough, great. If not, you can always pop a little bit of a block or a few books under your foot. If that's still not enough, hands can interlace behind the left thigh, and then roll the shoulders down and back, rest the head. Reclined pigeon. If you have a little extra time, you can stay here a little longer. We'll move along. Left foot comes down, right foot comes down. Left foot lifts towards the sky, toes flex. Ankle over the right thigh, knee opens away from us. Taking the hands perhaps behind the thigh, letting the head rest, shoulders soft. Releasing the right foot, releasing the left foot. We'll take both knees into the chest briefly, just for a little rock side to side once again, up an asana. And then coming to a resting pose, feet come to the ground. Let the soles of the feet touch, the knees butterfly out wide, and then take your fingers to interlace and place them behind your head like you're hanging out in a gazebo. If this is a little much in the hips, no worries. You can pop some shoes under your knees, some folded up blankets, a couple of pillows, some blocks. Get creative. And what that does is it just holds them up a little so you get the benefit of the stretch without any of the hold, the squeeze. And let yourself rest. Notice places in your body that are touching other places in your body. What it feels like for your hands to be stacked or fingers interlaced. What the bottoms of your feet feel like against one another. Notice some places where your body is supported by something outside of it. Like your seat against your mat, or your shoulders against the earth. And let those points of contact get a bit heavier. Let yourself sink in. And take a moment to listen to your nervous system. Let it talk to you. Release the hands from behind the head. Let the knees come to touch. Walk the feet a little wider and start taking some windshield wipers. Knees drop from side to side. Building that connection with our body again, rubbing our fingertips together, our fingertips over our palms. And then draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a great big squeeze. And then begin to rock and roll the length of the spine, chin tuck way in until you come all the way up to a seat. Hands at heart center. They lift up overhead, middle three fingers part back to our lotus mudra. Lokaha, samasta, sukhino, bhavantu. Taking our fingers into the peace fingers and plugging them into the earth. May all beings be happy and free. And may my thoughts, words, and actions in this life contribute to the happiness and freedom of all. Namaste. See you next time.